I see you got the extra whipped cream in there, huh?
Yeah.
Yummers.
Hey, what's up everyone, it's Ryan here from The Y, and today we're gonna be taking a look at The Boys. So when I first started watching the show, I really didn't know what to expect. I sorta thought, oh, The Boys. I bet they're like a real tight-knit group of crime-fighting superheroes who are all very well-intentioned. I've never been more wrong, but I've also never been happier to be so wrong in my entire life. Here's 30 facts you didn't know about The Boys. In The Boys, one of the earliest storylines centered on Starlight's outfit and updating it to a much more revealing one.
I'm fine with my old outfit. We're not. Excuse me?
Funny enough, with everything that's gone down, no one really cares anymore. But according to Erin Moriarty, there's good and bad things about both outfits. Like Starlight, Moriarty feels like the original costume is more in line with their character's true self, and dislikes how objectifying the new suit is. But when it comes to comfortability, Starlight 2.0 wins outright as it doesn't feel like her organs are being crushed. Ideally though, Moriarty thinks it's about time for Starlight 3.0, and with her now joining The Boys, it's actually a definite possibility. 1 decade before The Boys premiered on Amazon, a movie under the same name was in production at Columbia Pictures. Adam McKay was pinned as the director, and the plan was to have Russell Crowe as Billy Butcher and Simon Pegg as Huey. However, due to a number of reasons, including the comic not having a large following, needing an R rating, and on top of that, a $100 million budget, the project never went too far. I bet we can all relate to this hidden detail. In the season 2 episode, We Gotta Go Now, you can see that the Starbucks barista has misspelled Stormfront's name as Storefront.
I like to see the light go out.
Here's something I never saw coming. The Boys were honored by PETA with an award called Tech, not Terror. The scene that caught their attention is one that probably grossed us all the f*** out.
Hey, Deep. What? Eat Timothy.
Instead of eating or even using a live octopus like many people do, the team created a realistic CGI stand-in. PETA thanked the series for helping viewers to see every octopus as an individual like Timothy, not as an entree or as entertainment. Hopefully, they stuck around for a couple more episodes to see the love and attention that the Deep provided to Timothy's brethren. I'm sure PETA would admit it was a beautiful sight to see.
Ambrosia says she wants to taste you.
No, okay, I can't.
This probably doesn't mean a thing and is just a cool little Easter egg, but when they're figuring out a way to kill Translucent, the acid that Frenchie takes has A-Train's logo on it.
And I'll teach you to run as fast as me.
Yeah?
Yeah?
You'll teach me to outrun cancer?
If Jonah Vogelbaum's estate looked familiar to you, that's because you've probably seen it more than once before. The Parkwood estate in Oshawa, Ontario has been used as a backdrop by a multitude of different movies and TV shows, including The Umbrella Academy, X-Men, and even Billy Madison.
There's something important I was supposed to do today.
For this fact, we're going all the way back to season 1 and a certain Buzz.
By ourselves. Time for a few more?
I don't think it's Morgan Freeman up there or anything.
No joke, when I started seeing flies appear in multiple scenes, I thought, okay, this has to mean something. And most likely, Flyman has arrived. Well, I was totally wrong, and it doesn't mean shit. Eric Kripke, director of The Boys, laid the rumors to rest in a Reddit AMA and explained that the flies were 100% real and not staged. What happened was, it was summer in Toronto, meaning the flies were abundant and constantly messing up shots. But rather than letting it ruin things, Kripke found 2 reasons to just leave him in there. 1, no other show's done it before, at least in his estimation. And 2, it fits nicely with the Boys theme of being real and messy anyways. If you think the Boys TV show is f***ed up, I'm assuming you haven't read the comics. To say they're dark is an understatement, and much of the content had to be toned down to make it palatable for the general public. Before we get into all the messed up shit, one wholesome change is that the Deep never raped Starlight in the comics. Just kidding, it's 3 times worse as Homelander, A-Train, and Black Noir all sexually assault her instead. Adding insult to injury is that after Starlight begrudgingly updates her outfit to a more revealing one like in the show, they still aren't satisfied and try to get her to wear this, coming up with the backstory that she was taken advantage of, which turned her all grim and sexual. It's hard to imagine Butcher's backstory getting any worse than what we saw, yet somehow the comics managed to pull it off. As in the show, Becky gets raped, although in the graphic novel, it's Black Noir instead of Homelander. Nevertheless, here's where things really diverge. One morning, Butcher wakes up to his wife's corpse hanging off the bed, killed by her infant Supe bursting out of her womb alien style. Butcher then beats the monstrosity to death with the lampstand, and his hatred of Supe's commences. And poor Mother's Milk. He always gets the short end of the stick, even in the comics. The gist of it is that his mom worked in a Compound V factory, gets Compound V poisoning, and passes it on to him when he's born. He's granted superpowers, but the flip side is that he has to constantly breastfeed to get the Compound V, otherwise he dies. And when his daughter is born, you guessed it, it's inner blood too. And while she doesn't gain any powers, it makes her age prematurely so that even though she's only 12, she looks 20. Monique is unrecognizable as well, being a drug-addicted hooker, and instead of caring for Janine, convinces her to star in a pornographic film together. After hearing this, I feel a lot better about that son of a Todd.
Holy f***. That was diabolical.
Our introduction to Soldier Boy came in the form of a statue in the episode Butcher Baker Candlestick Maker. Comparing this to his outfit in season 3, the two look nothing alike. However, the statue's design makes one more appearance during the in-universe movie at the theme park.
Do you know what a GPS is? Or Bluetooth? Or, the internet?
You made those words up.
Every member of the Seven in the show is the same in the comics, except for Translucent. Taking his place in the graphic novel is a man called Jack from Jupiter, a fitting name as he certainly does look like some sort of alien. But unfortunately, it's not that interesting as he was simply created by Vought along with everyone else in the Seven. And his strange appearance is ultimately what got him excluded from the show. They made the case that because a big part of the story centered on the tale that Supes were born with their powers, introducing someone who looked like Jack would mess up that whole narrative and create way too many questions. And regarding Translucent's death and subsequent replacement, it's pretty ironic that Stormfront's a Nazi and her power is lightning, as Translucent was shown to be Jewish, and his weakness is obviously electricity.
Really? It's called white genocide.
Isadora, the designer behind many of the Supe outfits in The Boys, was inspired by maybe the most famous superhero costume designer of all, Edna Mode.
Dyna guy, snag on takeoff, splashdown, sucked into a vortex. No kicks.
By the end of this video, you'll be convinced that Antony Starr is Homelander in real life. Exhibit 1. As we all know, Homelander viewed Madeline Stillwell as the mother he never had in a very f***ed up Oedipus complex kind of way. Antony Starr doesn't quite say that word for word, but it's close enough that I have my suspicions.
That was my first crush. My dad took me to see that movie in New Zealand, and I was like, Allie, and f*** you, Ralph Macchio, I want her.
I'll be honest, in the opening couple of scenes when Huey and Robin were just talking for like 5 minutes, I was getting a little bored and wondering where all the action was when A-Train came and delivered. It's a devastating scene and a great hook, but here's the thing, SpongeBob pulled it off first, albeit a tad less gory.
Will you marry me?
Yes, I will!
Take a look at Huey in the comics and now Huey from the show. Not too similar, right? But doesn't the comic book Huey remind you of someone? If you guess Simon Pegg, you win nothing, but you did get it right. After seeing him in Spaced, co-creator Derek Robertson felt drawn to his mix of innocence but tough determination, and so he was inspired to model Huey after Pegg. According to Simon Pegg, he was super chuffed to be immortalized as a comic book character, although now I can't shake the feeling that we missed out on him playing Huey in the show. Obviously, he's too old now, but back in the time of Shaun of the Dead, you can't tell me he wouldn't have been perfect. Like I said earlier, he was pegged for the role back when they were trying to make it into a film. It didn't work out, but now with the release of the animated spin-off Diabolical, Pegg was finally able to step into the role.
Jinx, Frenchie, what'd you put in that stuff?
Homelander is no doubt an asshole with an ego the size of Texas.
I'm stronger, I'm smarter, I'm better. I am better!
This brings us to Exhibit 2 of Antony Starr being Homelander in disguise. Have you ever heard the phrase,
"Your grandma always used to say to me, nothing good happens after 2 a.m.
Well, one night Starr found himself out at a bar past 2 a.m., drunk as fuck, and up to no good. Somehow or another, a 21-year-old chef pissed him off. So he did what any sane person would do and punched him twice and broke a glass over his head. But that's not even the best part. The chef recalled that while Starr was assaulting him, he yelled out, "You don't know who you've messed with. You don't know who I am and what you've done." Yeah, I don't think it's by accident that Starr is so convincing in the part of Homelander.
Thank you. I can see you gurgle, you disgusting fat f***. Get off the stage.
What are the odds? Jim Beaver, the actor who plays Robert Singer, also played another Robert Singer in Supernatural. I apologize in advance because I have to tell you about more depraved shit from the comics that'll never make it to the show. Let's start with Kessler, a CIA analyst with a fetish for raping paraplegics. I guess you could call this karma, but his nickname of Monkey came about from a pair of monkeys sodomizing his ears. And remember Terror, Butcher's lovable English bulldog. Well, he's not so much as lovable in the comics as much as he likes to forcibly love other dogs and even people. To be fair, it's not his fault as Butcher is the one commanding all the raping because he finds it funny. Other than that, you got a superhero with a hamster living inside his anus, people smoking dried up fetuses to get high, and Lamplighter living as some kind of shit-eating golem. This may be super obvious, but I still had to throw it in there for those who don't know. Many of the superheroes in the Seven resemble members of the Justice League. Homelander is of course Superman, Maeve as Wonder Woman, The Deep is Aquaman, A-Train as The Flash, Lamplighter equals Green Lantern, Black Noir as Batman, and even though he doesn't appear in the show, Jack from Jupiter lines up nicely with Martian Manhunter. During the Season 1 episode Get Some, Butcher says the following.
Conspicuous? No, I don't think it's conspicuous. I think a big black van with f***ing flowers on the side is conspicuous.
5 episodes later, look at what we have here. The Boys is a TV show that loves its liquids. Whether it be Compound V, Fresca, blood, or even sperm, most episodes are filled with some type of juicy goodness. In fact, Season 3 went so hard that the show ran out of fake blood by the 3rd episode, and Episode 6 saw them exhausting their supply of fake cum. And while Laz Alonso dealt with his own hardships in being covered with bodily fluids, Karen Fukuhara and Jack Quaid said that because they're so often covered in sugary fake blood, bees are their biggest enemy on set.
Not the bees! Ah! Oh, my eyes! My eyes! Ah!
With the unmatched popularity of superheroes in the Boys universe, it only follows that soup porn would be massive as well. Some of the more popular titles include Deep Does It in the Blowhole and the classic home banger, Red, White, and Anal, which we were shown a glimpse of. But here's the nutty thing. Eric Kripke said that on top of filming scenes for the show, they took it 10 steps further and actually shot a full-length porno. The plan was to upload the flick in its entirety to souporn.com, and Kripke called upon everyone to spread the word and demand soup porn from Amazon. It was definitely a long shot, and as the website just shows an access denied, I garner that those pornos will never see the light of day.
You fucking...
When Antony Starr first got the script for The Boys, he was so busy he never even looked at it. A week later, with his agent breathing down his neck, Starr begrudgingly opened it up and to his dismay, saw it was a superhero thing. He thought, I'm never gonna get this. Look at Henry Cavill. He's built like a 12-foot brick shithouse, and he's wonderful, handsome, and charming. There is no way. Mostly to get his agents to go away, Starr got his iPad and recorded a half-assed audition in his dressing room. Much to his confusion, they loved it, sparking him to actually read beyond the first couple of pages, whereupon he realized, oh, this is really good. And thus, Homelander was born.
I'm the Homelander, and I can do whatever the f*** I want.
If there's one thing we know about Huey, is that he loves Billy Joel.
Hey, this ain't no little Vegas road trip.
If you haven't heard We Didn't Start the Fire, what have you been doing with your life? Though lesser known is that the song is a part of the album titled Stormfront. And while we're on the topic of Stormfront, There were actually a ton of clues pointing to her being a Nazi, all of which went right over my head. You have her lightning bolt earrings, a symbol of the SS, her eagle belt buckle, which is of course a symbol of the Nazi regime. Then you have her powers signifying blitzkrieg, as it literally translates to lightning war. And finally, her name was likely taken from stormfront.org, a neo-Nazi forum widely regarded as the first major racial hate site. And believe it or not, the precursor to Stormfront was an online bulletin board called LibertyNet.
Holy shit. Your eyes are really f***ing blue up close.
You.
News reporting and media overall is a huge deal in The Boys, and you might want to start paying attention to those lower thirds because there's often details hidden in the small text. A great example can be seen in this shot, linking Stormfront to the death of Jeffrey Epstein. And in this clip, the words appear before they're even said, highlighting just how scripted it all is.
What comes in waves?
And he said, we're more than just a team, we're a family.
Stan Lee is revered by fans worldwide as the father of the American superhero, but that didn't stop Garth Ennis from depicting him in a not-so-great light. Known as the old legend in the comics, he's parodied as a cutthroat, misogynistic weasel of a man, far from the adoration that's usually thrown Lee's way. A character with the same name makes an appearance in the show, but he's not based on Stan Lee like in the comics. Kripke explained how Garth Ennis set the original version of The Boys in a universe dominated by comics, while in the show, the overarching form of media comes via the screen, so it only follows that they needed a figure atop that world. And producer Robert Evans was a no-brainer. Known for films such as Rosemary's Baby, The Godfather, and Chinatown, you can see they got the look right, as well as his propensity for women and cocaine.
I was balls deep in Golden Geisha, and Marlon Brando was apparently balls deep in me.
So it's been 3 seasons and Kimiko hasn't spoken a single word. At least she has a name though. A step up from the comics where they simply refer to her as the female. In terms of playing a mute, the major challenge has gotta be how do I express myself and not be one-dimensional without having a voice. You've really only got body language, facial expressions, and of course sign language. Which is why, to play Kimiko, actress Karen Fukuhara worked with the coach to create an entirely new sign language to further distinguish her character. Violence and gore are basically the meat and potatoes of The Boys, and while they're not shy about putting on gruesome displays, they did have to postpone a scene and move it to a different location. What scene it was never fully identified, but as it was described as a rogue superhero attacking a crowd of 450 people with a considerable amount of fake blood, there's no need to spell it out. Mel Lastman Square was supposed to be where the imagined massacre took place. The issue being, it was also the site of a terrorist attack that killed 11 the year prior. Obviously, it would have been in very poor taste to film such a bloody scene there less than a year removed. So you gotta wonder how it took till the night before to come to that realization.
You guys are the real heroes.
Even though we can all agree that Homelander needs to be put down, you can't help but feel a little bad for the guy.
You're my greatest failure.
You are simply bad product.
You.
I know. You're a f***ing disappointment.
If by some miracle you still believe that Antony Starr's just acting, here's Exhibit 3 showing that you're totally mistaken.
So what's the best part of playing Homelander?
Not having to do any scenes with you.
With all the wacky shit that goes down every episode, the memes are in no short supply. Here's some of the best.
You know what, Chelsea? I think you should jump.
Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to leave me a like and subscribe for more content like this. And leave a comment with what movie or TV show you want me to do next. Alright, till next time, have a great day everyone.